And then do you want to just touch on Tashaun Gipson here before we go?
Sure,
That was
sure.
the news that came in late last night.
Absolutely. I think it was like basically a, what is it, $2.9 million cap hit, something like that. 2 million, 2.9, something in that range. He had a very good rating against the run last year. I joked with Levin because we were doing the spreadsheet that Lombardi had, and one of the options for players on the spreadsheet is budget veteran, which is exactly what Tashaun Gipson was last year. He was a budget veteran signing for the 49ers, and he ended up leading the team in interceptions and having a damn good year and basically taking Jimmy Ward's spot. My question to you is, I saw like conflicting tweets from 49ers beat writers. I think it was Eric Branch said, well, this means Jimmy Ward's not coming back. I think it was Barrow said, this proves the Niners would be interested in Jimmy Ward to come back as a nickelback. How do you think the Gipson signing impacts Jimmy Ward?
Um, Maybe as a nickelback, and I think part of that was because he mentioned it, right? He mentioned, hey, wait, I could come back to the Niners. They might
Yep.
want me starting at nickel, but I also think that's Jimmy Ward reading the tea leaves on his market too, because this market just hasn't been good for veteran safeties the entire time.
It's
Like you could
true.
say, oh, look, Tashaun Gipson signed quickly. He signed for almost no money. That's why he signed quickly. It just turns out to be like worth, 2.5 times more than what he was paid last year. That's the big difference here. But Jimmy Ward's a guy who made $10 million last year. So there's a big difference. I love Jimmy Ward, right? You won't find somebody who's been pushing for Jimmy Ward's a great player more than me. I don't think they should bring him back. He's 31 years old. He's a great locker room presence, all of that. But you drafted Sam Womack in the 5th round for a reason. It's time. It's time to move on. You can't just keep bringing back 30-year-old players and overpaying them because you drafted him. He's young. Develop him. Put him on the field. If there's one guy in the secondary I think they should bring back, it's Carlo in the comments put it. It's Emmanuel Mosley. I've been saying
Yep.
that from day one. It's the one guy they should bring back. To me, let Jimmy Ward walk. Go forward with Womack. Go forward with Lenore, whoever that is. Figure it out between those two. And then in terms of Tashaun Gipson, I thought it was a very safe signing, Rob. I think it was a very much like, hey, we know he's steady, we know he does his job, and we know he can catch errant passes that are thrown to him. And he checks all those boxes. He's a veteran prep player. We know we can trust him. And
Yep.
I think it was a very, very safe and solid signing. I'm not going to sit here and ring the bell over Tashaun Gipson. But the one thing I do want them to do, and I think the Javon Hargrave signing opens it up, is one of those 3rd-round picks, I want them to draft a safety, somebody young that they're grooming as a future starter next to Hufanga, because I don't think they can keep putting this Tashaun Gipson Band-Aid, which was a Jaquaski Tart Band-Aid the year
Yep.
before, which was a Jaquaski Tart Band-Aid. Like, you can't just keep putting this Band-Aid on this safety situation. To me, you have to move forward and have a young guy. Tarvarius Moore is a free agent, and he showed no ability to make you think he's a long-term answer as a starter at safety. He was an pretty nice special teams player. That's it. George Odom is an all-pro caliber special teams player, but to me, you don't want him as anything more as your backup safety. I would love for them to go get somebody and draft somebody as their future at safety, grooming him. And he would be kind of in the perfect role too, because they wouldn't put pressure on him to start this year, thanks to having good old Tashaun Gipson, who's steady and a veteran and does his job really, really well back there.
I com-
So
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go
I
ahead. Yeah.
completely agree with you. Like, eventually you have to invest in this position, and I hope that the 49ers will.